The world above fades into a distant, hazy memory, a flickering reel of golden sunlight, the sharp cry of gulls, and the rhythmic, restless crashing of surface waves. As you begin your journey, you are drifting downward, cocooned safely within a submersible crafted of ancient, heavy brass and thick, bioluminescent glass. The light of the sun, once a blinding white, transforms into a soft, sapphire glow, then settles into a deep, meditative indigo. Eventually it becomes a velvet navy that wraps around the vessel like a protective, weighted blanket. The hum of the engine is not a noise, but a low, vibrating OM that resonates deep within your chest, syncing perfectly with the slow, steady beat of your heart. Through the porthole, you watch the bubbles dance upward, tiny, silver pearls escaping to a world that no longer demands your attention. In this transition, time begins to stretch, thin, and eventually lose its meaning. The crushing pressure of the day-to-day world, the deadlines, the noise, the endless movement, is replaced by the gentle, supportive buoyancy of the deep ocean. You are safe. You are held. The descent is not a fall, but a homecoming to a silence so profound it feels like a physical presence, a warm embrace. Every inch deeper is a layer of tension shedding from your shoulders, melting away into the dark water. The darkness outside is not empty, it is a vast, liquid canvas of potential, a sanctuary of deep sea waiting for the first glimpse of the eternal city. You close your eyes for a long moment, feeling the rhythmic sway of the currents, letting the ocean's immense vastness cradle your consciousness as you sink further into the infinite blue. The silence is absolute, a heavy, warm velvet that presses against the glass, inviting you to let go of everything but the rhythmic breath in your lungs and the steady, downward drift into the heart of the world. As the vessel levels out, a soft, amber light begins to pulse in the distance, growing stronger and warmer with every passing second. It is not the harsh, flickering light of surface fire, but a steady, rhythmic glow emanating from massive pillars that rise like titans from the seabed. These are the Gates of Atlantis, forged from Orichalcum, the legendary red metal of the ancients that glows with its own inner warmth, as if it had captured the essence of 1,000 sunsets and held them captive beneath the waves. The gates are intricately carved with swirling patterns of tides, celestial alignments, and forgotten constellations, stories told in metal that have remained unblemished by salt or time for millennia. As you pass between these monolithic sentinels, the metal seems to hum a greeting, a low-frequency vibration that settles deep within your bones and quiets the chatter of your mind. The water here feels different, clearer, more vital, infused with an energy that makes the very shadows seem to shimmer with life. You lean your forehead against the cool glass of the porthole, watching the intricate carvings move past in slow motion. They depict a lost harmony between humanity and the sea, a promise of peace kept for eternity. These gates are more than a physical entrance. They are a psychological threshold between the known world and the mystical realm. Beyond them lies the sanctuary you have been seeking for so long. The light of the orichalcum reflects off the interior of your cabin, painting the walls in hues of sunset gold, deep copper, and burnished bronze. You breathe in deeply, the air tasting of ozone, minerals, and ancient secrets, as the city begins to reveal its silhouette against the dark, quiet expanse of the oceanic trench. The transition is now complete. You have left the restless, shallow world behind for a realm of eternal, glowing stillness. Moving past the gates, you enter the outer rings of the city, where the gardens flourish in a silent explosion of light. These are not gardens of earth and soil, but underwater forests of giant, majestic kelp that glow with soft neon greens and swaying anemones that pulse in rhythmic, hypnotic pinks and purples. Schools of translucent fish dart between the fronds like living sparks of electricity, their movements fluid and entirely effortless, as if they are part of the water itself. The plants here move with the slow, deliberate grace of a dream, unaffected by the storms that rage on the surface. You observe a giant jellyfish drifting past, its bell a translucent dome of soft, glowing cerulean, trailing long, silken tentacles that drift like ribbons in a light, subterranean breeze. Everything in this garden operates on the rhythm of the tide, a slow, deep inhale of the current, followed by a slow, sweeping exhale of the drift. There is no urgency here, no predator and no prey, only a shared existence in the twilight. The colors are muted and soft, filtered through leagues of thick crystalline water, creating a palette of pastels that soothe the tired eyes. You watch a carpet of glowing moss spread across a nearby coral ridge, its light dimming and brightening in a slow loop, as if the earth itself were breathing in its sleep. The sight is hypnotic, a visual lullaby that commands your mind to let go of any remaining stray thoughts and focus only on the undulating, rhythmic beauty of the deep-sea flora. The garden is a nursery of light, where the shadows are kind and the water is a warm, living embrace that shields you from the world above. As your vessel moves toward the heart of the city, the architecture shifts from the natural to the sublime. Towering spires made of translucent quartz, amethyst, and sapphire-colored glass rise from the ocean floor, reaching toward the distant, invisible surface like frozen prayers. These buildings do not possess the sharp, aggressive edges of surface skyscrapers. They are rounded, smooth, and organic, shaped by the gentle pressure of water and the intention of ancient architects over eons of time. Inside the spires, you can see the faint, slow movement of shadows, the guardians of the city moving with the same unhurried grace as the sea life outside, their lives governed by the same peaceful rhythms. The crystals catch the ambient light from the bioluminescent gardens and the Orichalcum gates, refracting it into 1,000 dancing rainbows that play across the white sand of the sea floor. Each spire acts as a massive tuning fork, vibrating with a low-frequency sound, a celestial drone, that keeps the city in a state of perpetual equilibrium. It is a sound you feel more than hear, a grounding, resonant bass that anchors your spirit to the present moment and pulls you deeper into relaxation. You gaze up at the tallest spire, its peak lost in the dark, shimmering waters above, and realize that this city was built to last until the end of time. Its stability is infectious, flowing through the glass and into your own being. You feel your own foundations becoming more solid, your mind becoming as clear, calm, and transparent as the glass walls of the Atlantean towers. The structures seem to vibrate with an ancient, silent wisdom, offering a sense of permanence and safety in a world that often feels too fleeting. The vessel finally comes to a rest, docking softly against a platform of smooth, iridescent white marble that feels like silk beneath your feet. You step out, entering a vast, arched corridor known as the Hall of Whispers. Here, the water is held back by invisible fields of ancient energy, allowing you to walk freely in air that is cool and perfectly still. The walls are lined with porous, volcanic stone that has been enchanted to capture the distant sounds of the ocean and translate them into soft, melodic sighs. As you walk, the echoes of the deep fill the air, the distant, haunting song of a blue whale, softened into a flute-like trill, and the gentle clicking of dolphins, sounding like rhythmic rain falling on a distant tin roof. The hall is dim and inviting, lit only by small, floating spheres of soft white light that bob gently in the air around you like tethered stars. Your footsteps make no sound on the marble floor, which is inlaid with patterns of silver and pearl. Every breath you take feels cool, crisp, and revitalizing, filling your lungs with a sense of pure peace. The whispers of the hall are not made of words or language, but of pure emotion, palpable feelings of safety, of being home, and of profound, deserved rest. It is a place specifically designed for reflection and shedding the ego, where the chaotic noise of the external world is filtered out, leaving only the quiet, steady truth of your own peaceful heart. You walk slowly, letting the melodic echoes wash over you, clearing away the last microscopic remnants of the day's worries, leaving you light and unburdened. At the far end of the Hall of Whispers, you discover the Great Library, a colossal, silent dome where the collective wisdom of Atlantis is stored not in fragile paper or cold stone, but within floating spheres of coherent, suspended water. These liquid globes drift through the air like miniature, transparent planets, each one holding a memory, a lost melody, or a profound discovery within its shimmering core. To access this knowledge, one does not read, but simply touches the surface of a sphere with a gentle fingertip. Immediately, the information flows into your consciousness like a warm, soothing wave of intuition. The entire chamber is filled with the delicate, overlapping sounds of trickling water, as thousands of tiny, ornamental fountains create a tapestry of white noise that effectively erases any lingering echoes of the surface world. The light here is a deep, studious emerald, filtered through the thick glass of the dome, and reflected by the soft mosses clinging to the inner walls. You find a seat upon a bench carved from a single, massive block of sea jade, which feels surprisingly supple and warm to the touch. There is no pressure here to achieve, no urgency to memorize or master. You are merely a quiet witness to the vastness of time and the depth of memory. The liquid scrolls rotate slowly in the ambient currents, casting dancing ripples of light across the vaulted ceiling that resemble wandering clouds of luminescence. You realize that everything that has ever been felt or known is preserved here, held in the gentle, eternal grip of the water. This weight of knowledge does not feel heavy. It feels light and ethereal, like mist rising from a silent lake at dawn. You let your mind drift among the floating spheres, catching glimpses of ancient star charts and the blueprints of lost wonders, until your own thoughts become as fluid, transparent, and calm as the library itself. Deep within the most secluded heart of the city lies the Chamber of Tides, a vast circular room where the fundamental heartbeat of the entire ocean is most palpable. At its center rests a wide, shallow pool filled with a substance that looks like molten, liquid mercury, its surface rising and falling in perfect, rhythmic synchronization with the moon's invisible pole miles above the waves. The walls of this sacred space are fashioned from polished obsidian, dark as the void, reflecting the slow, metallic pulse of the pool so perfectly that the room seems to expand into infinity. This is the city's primary metronome, a cosmic clock that has dictated the pace of Atlantean life for untold eons. You stand at the very edge of the pool, watching the silver surface swell with a heavy, graceful inertia before receding back into itself. You find yourself breathing in as the mercury rises, and breathing out as it falls. The movement is so steady, so inevitable, and so profoundly grounded that it bypasses your analytical mind entirely, speaking directly to the rhythm of your nervous system. There is a deep, primal comfort in this mechanical certainty. It reminds you that despite the chaos of the world above, there are laws that remain unchanged and movements that never falter. The air in the chamber is heavy and slightly warmed by the earth's core, carrying a scent of mineral salts and ancient, wet stone. You feel a sense of absolute surrender washing over you. You do not need to struggle or control. The tides will continue their dance, the seasons will turn, and the ocean will maintain its long, slow, magnificent breath. You are simply a passenger in this grand design, and as the mercury pulses, you feel your muscles turn to heavy silk, yielding to the gravity of the deep. Leaving the quiet intensity of the tides, your path leads you across a network of elegant, arched bridges that connect the city's concentric rings like delicate, glowing spiderwebs. These structures are not built, but grown from iridescent mother-of-pearl, gleaming with soft whites, pale pinks, and creamy violets that shift in hue as you walk. Below you, the city lights twinkle like a galaxy of captured stars settled upon the seabed. The height does not trigger a sense of falling. Instead, because the air here is so rich and pressurized, it feels supportive and dense, as if you could simply lean over the railing and be carried away by a gentle, upward draft. From the highest point of a pearl bridge, you can see the masterful geometry of Atlantis, a series of perfect circles separated by glowing turquoise canals where silent vessels glide. This symmetry acts as a balm for a cluttered mind, a visual proof of order and tranquility that soothes the spirit. You pause for a long moment, resting your hands on the smooth, cool railing, and gaze out over the silent rooftops and the phosphorescent thoroughfares. There is no friction here, no mechanical clatter, and no voices raised in anger. Everything moves with a quiet, fluid efficiency, a graceful ballet of light and shadow. The pearl under your feet is perfectly smooth, drawing the last remnants of heat and agitation from your body. A soft breeze, circulated by the city's ancient thermal vents, carries the faint, refreshing scent of ozone and blooming sea jasmine. You feel elevated and weightless, far removed from the burdens of the earth, as you drink in the shimmering silence of this sunken utopia. You descend from the heights into a wide, open plaza where thousands of floating lanterns drift like golden, low-hanging clouds. Each lantern is a delicate, hand-carved shell containing a tiny, bioengineered flame that glows with a steady warmth without ever consuming itself. The light they cast is amber and flickering, creating an atmosphere of profound safety and domestic peace. Figures move through the plaza with a slow, rhythmic gait, their voices so hushed and melodic that they blend into the background noise of the city's fountains, sounding like a distant, rhythmic hum. There is a powerful sense of community here, but it is a community rooted in shared silence and deep, mutual respect. You find a secluded spot near a grand fountain that sprays a fine, cool mist into the air, creating tiny, shimmering halos around the drifting lanterns. The sound of the falling water is a constant, soft shush, a repetitive invitation to remain perfectly still and present. You watch the lanterns sway in the subtle currents of the air, their golden reflections dancing upon the polished marble floor like liquid fire. It feels as though you have walked into a celebration that never ends, a festival of peace that requires no music or spectacle other than the light itself. You let the warmth of the amber glow soak into your skin and radiate through your limbs, feeling your pulse slow to match the flickering of the flames. This is a place where time is ignored, and as you watch the lanterns drift, your eyelids begin to feel as heavy as the golden light they emit. Beyond the warm glow of the plaza lie the sleeping quarters, the grottoes. These are natural sea caves that have been lined with a thick, moss-like velvet that feels like a cool, plush forest floor against the skin. The entrance to each grotto is veiled by a shimmering curtain of falling water, which acts as a perfect acoustic barrier, filtering out the world and replacing it with a soft, hypnotic patter that encourages the mind to release its final attachments to the day. As you step inside, you feel an immediate and profound shift in the atmosphere. The temperature is perfectly balanced, neither too warm nor too cool, cradling you in a climate of total comfort. The walls are a deep, matte charcoal blue, designed to absorb all stray light and leave the space in a state of perpetual, velvety twilight. In the center of the grotto lies a bed of immense proportions, crafted from layers of hand-woven sea silk and soft, buoyant aquatic fibers. As you finally lie down, the surface yields to your weight with a gentle, sighing softness, supporting your body so completely that the boundary between your skin and the bed seems to vanish. There are no clocks here, no reminders of schedules or the relentless passage of time. There is only the vast, eternal now. You lie back, feeling the last microscopic traces of tension evaporate from your ankles, your knees, and your shoulders. The grotto is a sanctuary of stone and silk, a silent womb where the outside world cannot reach you, and where the only task remaining is to let your breath become as slow and steady as the deep ocean currents. As you settle deeper into the velvet embrace of the grotto, a new sensation begins to emerge, not a sound heard with the ears, but a vibration felt within the very marrow of your bones. This is the song of the abyss, a sequence of incredibly low-frequency notes, rising from the earth's crust far beneath the city's foundations. It is a tectonic melody, the ancient music of shifting plates, deep-sea thermal vents, and the slow, rhythmic cooling of the planet's molten core. This song does not hurry. A single note may last for several minutes, creating a resonant drone that is profoundly grounding and stabilizing. The vibration travels through the silk-lined bed and into your body, realigning your internal rhythms with the planet's own primeval frequency. It is a song of immense patience and endurance, a reminder that the earth has breathed in and out for billions of years before you arrived and will continue long after you leave. Compared to this tectonic lullaby, the worries of the surface world seem like tiny, inconsequential sparks that flicker and vanish in an instant. The deep resonance settles in your chest, calming your heart rate until it matches the slow, tectonic pulse of the world. You are being sung to sleep by the earth itself, wrapped in a frequency that has comforted the oceans since the beginning of time. In that hazy, golden threshold between wakefulness and the first descent into sleep, you become aware of the weaver of dreams. This is not a physical being, but a gentle, atmospheric presence that dwells within the filtered, shimmering light of Atlantis. The weaver's purpose is to take the scattered sensory experiences of your journey, the sapphire glow of the descent, the amber warmth of the orichalcum, and the emerald silence of the library, and begin to spin them into soft, abstract images. You see fleeting scenes of coral forests swaying in a lightless breeze and silver fish darting like forgotten thoughts through marble arches. There is no logic or narrative to these visions. They are a tapestry of pure peace designed to occupy the conscious mind until it finally lets go. The weaver's influence is like a cool, invisible hand resting upon your forehead, smoothing away the last lingering wrinkles of thought and analysis. You find yourself no longer trying to make sense of what you see. You simply let the colors wash over you like a gentle, lukewarm tide. The shapes are fluid and ever-changing, melting into one another without friction. You are no longer an observer standing apart from the story. You are becoming a single, shimmering thread within the weaver's loom, drifting helplessly and happily into the fabric of the dream. Through a crystal skylight set into the ceiling of your grotto, you gaze up at the water above, which is filled with millions of tiny, bioluminescent organisms. In the darkness of the deep sea, they look exactly like a sprawling galaxy of stars, earning them the name, the liquid stars of Atlantis. These organisms drift in slow, majestic constellations that shift and reform with the passing currents, creating patterns that feel ancient and strangely familiar to your soul. Looking at them, you experience a profound shift in perspective. Though you are miles beneath the surface, you feel as though you are floating in the center of the cosmos. The boundary between the heights of the heavens and the depths of the ocean begins to dissolve. You are at the quiet, still point of the turning world. The liquid stars pulse in a slow, hypnotic rhythm, dimming almost to total darkness, then brightening into a soft, ethereal glow, then dimming again. You follow one tiny, distant spark with your eyes, watching its slow, erratic journey across the dark blue pane of the skylight until your eyelids feel too heavy to remain open. The liquid stars are a silent promise that light exists even in the most profound darkness, and that total peace is always reachable if one is willing to sink deep enough into the stillness. Your body now feels as though it is composed entirely of water. The distinction between the air in your lungs, the silk of the bed beneath you, and the vast ocean outside the city walls has completely vanished. You have become a part of the grand, interconnected ecosystem of Atlantis. Your breath has become the tide, rising and falling with effortless grace. Your blood is the warm, steady current of the sea, and your thoughts are like drifting kelp, swaying gently without direction or destination. The physical weight of your limbs has been replaced by a sensation of perfect, total buoyancy. You are floating in a sea of pure, unadulterated restoration. Every cell in your body has been cleansed by the tranquility of the deep and the ancient silence of the spires. You take one final, deep inhale, tasting the faint scent of mineral salt and cool stone, and as you exhale, you consciously let go of the very last thread connecting you to the waking world. The city of Atlantis remains all around you, glowing, silent, and eternal, serving as the guardian of your rest. You are protected by miles of weightless water and eons of sacred history. Nothing can disturb you here. You are finally home in the deep, and the deep is within you. The golden lights of the city begin to fade into a soft, charcoal haze. The hum of the crystal spires softens into a silent, comforting vibration that exists just below the threshold of hearing. The whispers of the hall have surrendered to the sound of your own quiet, rhythmic breathing. You have reached the very bottom of the descent, the silent heart of the world where all motion ceases. Here, there are no more words to hear, no more images to see, and no more thoughts to think. There is only the vast, dark, warm ocean of sleep. This is a boundless sea of deep, dreamless rest, stretching out into infinity in every direction. You are drifting further and further away from the distant shore of the waking world, carried by a gentle, maternal current that knows exactly where you need to go. The water is kind and supportive. The darkness is a profound blessing. You are submerged in absolute peace, sinking into a restorative slumber that will replenish your spirit until the sun eventually touches the surface of the world once more. Sleep now, for the ocean has claimed your worries and replaced them with silence. All is well in the eternal city. All is still. All is quiet.